Hello dear students, welcome to the second part of chapter Heat and Energy. In this part, we will study about Hope's experiment and consequences of anomalous expansion, greenhouse effect and global warming. So let's get started. In 1805, scientist T.C. Hope devised a simple arrangement known as Hope's apparatus for demonstrating the anomalous expansion of water. The apparatus consists of a tall metallic cylinder provided with two side openings near the top and near the bottom, fitted with the thermometers respectively. The central part of the cylinder is surrounded by a cylindrical trough containing a freezing mixture of ice and salt. The cylinder is filled with pure water at room temperature, and the temperature is recorded at a regular interval of time. Initially, both the thermometers T1 and T2 show same temperature, that is room temperature. First, the temperature recorded by lower thermometer T1 starts decreasing and finally it reaches at 4 degrees centigrade, while the temperature recorded in upper thermometer T2 remains almost unchanged during this time. While the temperature recorded by lower thermometer T1 remains constant at 4 degrees centigrade, the upper thermometer T2 shows a continuous fall in temperature up to 0 degrees centigrade and then it also becomes steady. Thus, finally the temperature recorded by upper thermometer T2 is 0 degrees centigrade and that by lower thermometer T1 is 4 degrees centigrade. Initially, water is at room temperature, say 12 degrees centigrade. As the freezing mixture cools water in the central portion of the cylinder, the temperature starts falling from 12 degrees centigrade to 4 degrees centigrade, and the water here contracts and its density increases. So the cool water sinks down to the bottom and warm water from the bottom rises up to take its place. Thus, by convection, water of the lower part cools, so the reading of the lower thermometer T1 falls rapidly. The reading of upper thermometer T2 remains constant during this period. This procedure of convection continues till the temperature of entire water below becomes 4 degrees centigrade. On further cooling below 4 degrees centigrade, due to anomalous expansion, water of the central portion now expand. As we know that during anomalous expansion of water, when water is cooled from 4 degrees centigrade to 0 degrees centigrade, it expands. So the water here, after cooling from 4 degrees centigrade to 0 degrees centigrade, it starts expanding and its density decreases and hence it is lighter now, so it rises up. To take its place, water from top descends down and by convection, water above the central portion cools. So the reading of upper thermometer T2 now falls rapidly till 0 degrees centigrade and water near the top freezes to form ice at 0 degrees centigrade. Now the temperature in thermometer T2 is shown 0 degrees centigrade. At this stage, the lower thermometer T1 shows the temperature 4 degrees centigrade at which water has the maximum density, while the upper thermometer T2 shows the temperature of water and ice at 0 degrees centigrade. Greenhouse effect. It is the process of warming of planet's surface and its lower atmosphere by absorption of infrared radiations of long wavelength emitted out from the surface of planet by greenhouse gases that include water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, chlorofluorocarbons, etc. The solar radiations coming from the sun have high energy radiations such as gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, and low energy radiations such as visible light, infrared radiation, and radio waves. Our Earth's atmosphere is transparent only for visible light and infrared radiation of short wavelength. Gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays are absorbed by the ozone layer surrounding the Earth, while infrared radiation of long wavelength and radio waves were reflected back into the space by the uppermost layer of Earth's atmosphere, that is ionosphere and the polar ice caps. The solar radiations which travel through the atmosphere of the Earth are absorbed by the clouds, Earth's surface, and seawater, due to which Earth's surface gets heated up. Now, Earth's surface radiates infrared radiations of long wavelength. For these radiations, the Earth's atmosphere is opaque, so they are reflected back by the clouds and are absorbed by the gases present above the Earth's surface. Thus, the clouds and gases prevent the long wavelength infrared radiations from escaping into the space and keep the Earth's surface warm. The gases which are good absorbers of long wavelength infrared radiations are called greenhouse gases. These gases actively contribute in trapping the heat energy within the atmosphere. The naturally occurring greenhouse gases have an average warming effect of nearly 33 degrees centigrade, so that the average temperature on Earth's surface is about 15.5 degrees centigrade. In absence of greenhouse gases in atmosphere, entire heat energy radiated from Earth's surface and objects on it would escape out into space, and then the average temperature on Earth would be minus 18 degrees centigrade. On the other hand, if there is an increase in proportion of greenhouse gases in atmosphere, the average temperature on Earth will rise, and it will be above 15.5 degrees centigrade. Thus, we note that the right proportion of greenhouse gases is essential for maintaining a comfortable temperature of Earth's atmosphere. Global warming means the increase in average effective temperature near the Earth's surface due to an increase in the amount of greenhouse gases in its atmosphere. An increase in average temperature of the Earth implies an increase in the amount of greenhouse gases present in its atmosphere so that they could trap more heat radiated from the Earth's surface. The cause of global warming is the increase in concentration of greenhouse gases present in the atmosphere of Earth due to human activities. The concentration of carbon dioxide has increased up to 25% due to industrial growth, combustion of fossil fuels, clearing of forests, etc. The concentration of methane has doubled due to agricultural sources such as rice cultivation and animal husbandry, natural gas exploration, burning of biomass, clearing of forest, and leakage in natural gas pipelines. The concentration of chlorofluorocarbons has increased at a rate of 5% per year. As you can see in the image, the percentage of different causes are 25% is due to electricity and heat, 20.4% agriculture and land, 17.9% industry, 14% transportation, 19.6% other energy, 6.7% food waste, and 6.4% due to buildings. Future predictions or social and economic impact of climate change. Although it is not possible to make very accurate predictions on its impact for the future, but still looking at the changes in some natural phenomena which we are facing now. Dislocation and disappearance of plant and animal species, relocation of whole towns, shrinking productivity of harvest, prices of basic foodstuffs and consumer goods will rise. Extreme meteorological phenomena will cause widespread poverty. Diseases will spread due to high temperatures. Fresh water will be in short supply in some areas. More wars to gain access to limited resources. Loss of the capacity to work due to heat. Melting of glacier, warming of oceans, shift in farming region. Change in regional climate. Variable changes in the climate, increase in cost of air conditioning, change in sea level. To minimize the impact of global warming, we should work on three main measures. Recycle, reuse, reduce. The fossil fuel-based power plants are the main source of generation of the greenhouse gases. They produce nearly 21.3% of the total greenhouse gases. Therefore, alternate energy sources such as wind energy, solar energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy, etc. must be used to generate electricity in the place of fossil fuel-based power plants. Use of biochar stoves for cooking. Biomass is mostly used for cooking, which also contributes significantly in the increase of greenhouse gases. To avoid it, biochar stoves should be used. Energy should be saved by using less energy and turning off appliances when not in use. Switching to energy-saving bulbs like LED and investing in energy-saving appliances or objects which consume less amount of energy. Change of transportation vehicles. Vehicles such as lorry, truck, etc. that are presently in use for transportation are run by internal combustion engines and they contribute nearly 14% of the total greenhouse gas emission. Such vehicles must be switched to battery-operated vehicles which will reduce carbon dioxide emission drastically. For charging the battery, electricity generated from renewable sources must be used. Further, the vehicles must be used at their full capacity and the size of vehicles must be reduced. Instead of using your personal car or bike frequently for traveling, you should do walking or use bicycle or ride public transports which will help lessen the amount of greenhouse gases emission. Conserve water and reduce waste. Help reduce greenhouse emissions by practicing regular recycling, buying recycled goods and buying less or in bulk to lessen packaging waste. Reforestation and sustainable use of land. In developing countries, the pressure of population and industrial growth has resulted in unsustainable agricultural practices, which are responsible for 90% of deforestation. These countries must be asked to reforest and maintain forest habitats. Industries to pay carbon tax. Since industries emit carbon dioxide to a good extent, so to check them, they must be asked to pay carbon tax. This will encourage the industry to use the energy-efficient offices and to avoid the traveling of its employees by having teleconferencing. Educating children to live sustainable lifestyle. For a sustainable life, we must make full use of what we have. The materialistic gain gives only a temporary pleasure. So we need to educate children that genuine happiness lies in a less competitive and more cooperative society. Controlling population through family planning, welfare reforms, and empowerment of women. Population growth can be controlled through various measures such as free and easy access to family planning, welfare provisions to encourage smaller families, empowerment of women through education and freedom to choose their future career. Because the educated women are more conscious about family planning due to their career commitments. So now your chapter Hidden Energy has been completed. We'll meet with our next chapter of physics. Till then, take care and study properly.